All right, we are live today. What we got going on is a subject to hybrid deal. And today I want to go through the process of how do you quickly rule out a deal if your strategy is using it to look at Section 8 for long-term rental specifically. Now, a subject to hybrid deal, just to go everybody in the concept, is that subject to sub two or subject to deal is when you are buying a property subject to the existing financing, which means that you're buying the property, you're owning the property, but you're taking over the underlying payments without having to borrow another, go get another loan to pay off the old loan. So with this property, this is 1171 Lavender Loop, Spring Hill, Florida, 34609. Purchase price is $405,000, but you can quickly roll out this deal if you go to affordablehousing.com and you go to the owner section and you go to the market rent estimator. You plug in the address, you plug in bedroom count, and you can see right here that the average rent for 18 units within a 1.24 mile radius is $24.21. When you see that's $24.21, and you see that there is no spread between $24.21 and $24.00, right? Especially after you incorporate expenses, you know right away that this property will not cash flow. Now, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. I'm just simply showing you how do I quickly roll out a deal in less than 2 minutes. So I will move on from this deal. But let's spend some time. Let's tactically go through how do you actually put in the details from a deal like this into a spreadsheet to prove out to yourself why this is not a deal. Okay. So this property, let's look at the condition of the property. I mean, this looks pretty new. I mean, these are indeed the photos. It's turnkey, right? There's really no renovation needed. I would say it's you can rent it out right now. So now that we know the condition of the property, let's plug in the details. $405,000 is the purchase price. That goes in B4. For my rehab, let's delete this multiple by 3 because that was yesterday's scenario. If I go to the rehab calculator, I'm gonna set aside maybe $1,500 for the roof. I have $500 for some landscaping. Maybe I'll just do 300 square feet for touch-up paint, no flooring work. I got 2 toilets I replaced with high pressure flush toilets. And that's pretty much it. That gives me a total rehab of $4,500 just to have some buffer, right? Now, my rent, I got that right from my affordablehousing.com for $24.21. Now, want to get the details of this loan. Show this for you right here. Scroll down. Got the entry fee details right there. So $14,000 cash for seller. And I got $10,000 assignment fee. Right, the first primary loan that I'm taking over the payments for is $360 right here. It's a VA loan, $360,255, 6.25%. So this person likely bought this property with very, very little down, right? 12/1/23, and they think that they have about $25,000 of equity. So in turn, they're financing this $25,000 of equity to the buyer for 3%, that's 25 grand. So that's a reason why they're selling it on a creative finance deal so that they can get a little bit more money versus if they didn't. Okay. 25,400, 3%, loan term of 30 years, balloon in 10 years. Okay. So now that we input all these details, I can now back into what my monthly payment insurance number is going to be. So if my total payment is $2402, that's crazy. There's no way that my taxes and my insurance is $91. There's just no way. I don't believe that. So this means that this will probably lose even more money because Florida's insurance has gone up every single year. Every year. They nearly doubled, if not tripled, over the last couple of years. So I don't believe this is $91, but let's even just do this, right? Even if you don't make that assumption, equals 2402 and B28, and I subtract interest and a principal portion of the subject to loan that we're taking over payments for, and the principal and the interest portion loan of that. So that gives you to your total number, and that's all you're doing right now. And I'm going to add another at least $100 for insurance because I don't believe that's the real number. But Also, because Florida insurance typically go up every single year, and this property was bought in a VA loan, which means someone was living there as a primary residence. So that's why if you're turning into an investment property, insurance company is going to view that as a riskier asset. So they're going to charge you more. So that's why I'm adding extra $100. But then after you have 10% of your rent set aside for maintenance, right? This is real money. You know that roof is going to get replaced in 10, 15 years, 20 years. Same thing for your HVAC, same thing for your water heater. If you don't put aside this money right now, you're putting yourself in a very bad position because you thought you were making all this money because you underestimated its expenses, so you overestimated your profitability. Don't do that. Okay. Then I got 10% set aside for my property management, and then I got 5% set aside for my vacancy expenses. So all in all, if I rent this property out just for $2,400, even though I think it should be more, even though I think my expenses should be more than what I calculated earlier, because the escrow amount was so little, I will still be losing $686 a month if I rent this property out as a 4-bedroom for $2,420. That's a negative 686. That's a negative 22.5% cash on cash return, assuming you bought this property for $405,000. Now we went through just exactly why someone would sell on this on seller finance, right? Because if you otherwise you didn't sell on the creative finance, no one would be able to afford the payment that they're looking for. So even though it's 6.25%, there's an equity portion for 3%. So that might still be better than going on and getting for like a 6.5% or 7% interest rate. But still not a deal. So be very, very cautious, right? Just because it's a creative finance deal does not necessarily mean that it is a deal. All right. And that's how you plug in the details. All right. So again, guys, my hope is this: you copy into my homework, you look at the same deal analyzed today, using the same spreadsheet, stay consistent with me. Because at some point someone's gonna ask you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? And you can say, I know this is a deal because I've been looking at deals for the past 504 days. Might I give you guys some confidence that you know what you're doing? I certainly hope so. If you guys want to copy the spreadsheet, just go to affordablehousing.io, go to the get deal analysis tool, get the name, email, phone number. It's the fastest way to copy a spreadsheet. And from there, you guys can get a copy spreadsheet. Again, I didn't make these spreadsheets from scratch. I got it from a few other folks. I modified to just so that I can analyze these deals as fast as possible. All right. Have an amazing day. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 505. Have a good one, everybody.